As a young adolescent, books opened doors for me to realize that the disconnect I felt with the surrounding society was not only okay, but made sense and was important to honor. This process music, art, friends, mentors, experiences in nature, counterculture, and books. Our family loved books, for mother was a writer and my father loved to recite poetry. Books invited me into other realities and introduced other ways of being. Though many of their teachings sat like seeds waiting for the right conditions to sprout and blossom, they nourished me as I grew. In middle school, when I encountered T.H. White's The Once and Future King and Dan Millman's The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, I remembered the value of connecting with elders and was inspired to strengthen discipline and discernment. Many of Hermann Hesse's books, particularly Sid Artha, highlighted the spiritual dimensions occurring simultaneously to our everyday lives and the importance of leaving our comfort zone bubbles to be of service. A few years later, I traveled across the country alone and with friends several times, plugging in at rainbow gatherings, organic farms, intentional communities, living in the wilderness, participating in vision quests. During these times, I owned little more than a skirt, drum, small backpack, and knife. I practiced and honed skills such as the bow drill, herbal medicine, shelter building, yoga, and tracking. I realized that though there was a mainstream society whose currency was money and whose motor was the grid, that there was a whole world living without this in ways which felt more whole and connected. In high school, when reading William Shakespeare's Hamlet, I often pondered the question of being in the material world, to be or not to be, and wondered if I could overcome the temptations connected with gravity to truly serve the Creator. Throughout this time, the Torah was a guiding light, and my adherence to it varied in depth. It was a pleasure to begin to learn Yiddish from my grandmother. I remember reading Robert Pirsig's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance and realizing the need to learn how to fix my own vehicle. Through yoga, meditation, prayer, and healthy living, I worked on this. I began practicing bicycle maintenance as well as learning how to maintain a vegetable oil-fueled car. Friends had been rapping about these concepts for years and were beginning now to freestyle and empowerment. Books like Monica Soju and Barbara Moore's The Great Cosmic Mother pointed to tangible patterns in human civilization throughout time. One summer in college, when I was apprenticing on a biodynamic farm in New Hampshire, a precious friend sent books by Tom Brown, such as The Tracker. Each day I ventured to the forest after working in the fields to sit at a safe spot, hole in a debris shelter, study the plants, and learn to go in cold water quietly, practicing to silence the mind and read the land. It was not until I was invited to be a research assistant on the Aspen Trophic Cascade Project, tracking wolves in corridor between Manitoba and Montana in the International Peace Park, founded by Theodore Roosevelt, that I realized how primitive skills could be translated into scientific language and used in conservation. This was one of the first times where I saw how skills from the garden could be applied and translated to remediative actions in society. Our findings in the project were used to implement a conservation plan for corridor in which wolf populations were necessary for ecosystem health of the aspen trees, plants, birds, insects, mammals, and creatures throughout the web. As an outdoor educator, I discovered young adult literature. Books such as J.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and Trilogy, Jean Craighead George's Julie of the Wolves, and Jean M. Owl's Earth Children's series brought me back to my childhood years living in the trees of our neighborhood. Today I continue to enjoy reading these books, for like Nervine tea, they help me to relax, to step out of the busy adult world's societal responsibilities and remind me to visit the garden beneath. Lately I've been practicing to read nature like a book, learning to read geologic time and observing the story of creation unfold in each moment.